Hey guys, this is David here with the deck profile for you guys. As you see on the title, it is the God Hand known for Grappler deck. Playstyle wise, this is probably one of my favorite playstyles. I actually borrowed it this week and I actually been trying it out throughout this week, and it actually is one of the most interesting rush heavy decks. So if it can rush and hit one front, it usually wins the game automatically. So going on to the deck profile. Going on to the grade 3 lineup, I do have 4 God Hand. I'm running 2 Aluminos. So originally I was just playing 4 God Hand, which is actually really good, but I felt like that I needed to push, and just in case, because I've been misriding a few times, maybe once out of every 3 games I would misride. So I definitely thought I needed a little boost on hitting grade 3. So Lumino's a good choice, and actually Lumino's not bad as a rear guard as well, for the power. So I think that Luminal was a good choice to tech in for the extra power and for the grade 3 ride. But as you know, God Hand's effect is really good. If you hit a front trigger, it adds a plus 10 to it. And second ability, when it attacks, you can counterblast. You can counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand until end of battle. It gets an extra drive check. And if your opponent's at grade 3 or greater, it gets a crit. So pretty good. And going on to the grade 2 lineup, obviously I am running Fusing Striker, because it is a God Hand Searcher, and you do need to get God Hand in hand, obviously, to win, and to make sure you don't miss, right? So Fusion Striker is good. Obviously his first ability is really good, where it gets a plus 5 for every front trigger. So if you add it with God Hand, it's a 15k plus, so it's a plus 25k per trigger, which is definitely good. And then got Kick Typhoon. Kick Typhoon is a 4 of. It's a must. It restands a rear guard, and it can add a plus 5 if it's on Vanguard or an extra rear guard. So for whatever card that you're trying to focus to kill your opponent, you definitely want to put the power there. Or just to restand the card that has a crit or any extra power on it. So definitely important. I run 2 high power riser custom. This is for the extra attack, just in case I don't get Kick Typhoon. So if I do have Kick Typhoon in hand, I usually don't use riser custom. Or I mean, I can get it for the extra boost, so which is actually not bad. But riser custom is actually basically another Kick Typhoon for me. So I'm basically trying to run 6 Kick Typhoons. This is probably the kicker for this deck, is the Odd Puncher. Odd Puncher, if you hit a front trigger during your drive check, it gets an extra crit. I mean, obviously you can do it once, but 1 crit is usually enough when you're hitting for 60 to 70k per card. So obviously this card, if it can restand with Kick Typhoon and attack multiple times, your opponent is gonna waste a lot of cards, or they're gonna be dead. Alright, going to the grade 1 lineup. I do run 2 Claydol mechanics. The reason why I run 2 Claydol mechanics is because, one, obviously you're gonna try to finish the opponent in that 1 turn. So I think that recharging, try to get your counterblast back was not the ideal idea. But I mean, if you're in a situation where you only have 1 or 2 counterblasts, I guess it is kind of helpful. So I do run 2 of it for now. I do run 2 Gun Trooper. Gun Trooper's effect, if your drive check reveals a normal unit, if you're on God Hand, you can counterblast, retire this, and get another drive check. So basically it is to guarantee fronts. The reason why I run 3 is, 1, I usually use counterblast for God Hand anyways, or Kick Typhoon. 2 is, like, I mean, if you don't drive check another unit, which is fine, I mean, it's kind of the same value that in your hand for defensive, which the extra drive check does help, but like most likely the 1 front usually can kick games. So I think the 3 is enough, to be honest. And I was trying to make space for Illuminal, so I cut 1 down. This is probably one of the bigger cards in this deck, is the Grit Bengal. Grip Bengal, putting the front trigger on top of the deck, it guarantees a drive check in the it guarantees a front trigger in your drive check. So I definitely think it is very valuable. But it is a timing though, because you have to waste 2 cards to set that up. So basically, if you don't have the setup, I wouldn't play him, or try not to use him if possible. But he's also a 10k card, so I think in that regards he's okay. But most likely, if you don't have the setup, he's kind of useless. But you do want to set the one front because that changes the whole outcome on your drive checks with God Hand. I do run a 4 Silver Fist. The reason why I run more Silver Fist than Gun Trooper is I think the power value is very important. So having Silver Fist was very valuable when I was playtesting and getting other people at locals at Superstar Gaming. So I think the extra 5k is definitely helpful and it builds a better number. And also if you ride it, you can attack and hit for an extra card. So I think it is potentially a very good card to run. Trigger lineup, as you see, I actually don't run heals, but I run 12 fronts, 4 draws. I was deciding if I should put draws or heals for the deck profile, but I was like, you know what, let's make this interesting and fun, which actually I actually have been playing like this, but running 12 fronts and 4 draws is definitely devastating, but it also makes you be very aware of your damage checks. So I think that running no heals will definitely give you a better play. And you are kind of less reliant on heals, so you don't really bank on heals, so you're definitely playing a lot better. So I think that this lineup makes God Hand really good. So I definitely would try out this lineup if you guys are kind of the ballsy, aggressive players. Alright, and also just kind of I guess a review of how this deck would kind of work. Obviously I already set the front trigger on top of the deck. And then let's say you had about ideally most people give you 3 damage, so I'm just gonna go with 3. Let's say that either one of these are here. Usually I guess just to guys show you how Riser Custom will work, I will just kind of keep this in here and just have this out. But ideally you wanna have that set up and be ready to play at this point. So you're gonna obviously you want a hand because you want to use God Hand's effect, but let's say I discarded God Hand's effect, Counterblast 1, gets an extra drive check. Let's kind of randomize this because I did kind of put it in order, but yeah, there's a front on the top. So it is shuffled. I put the 1 front and I already discarded for the effect right there. So drive check, front. So for the 1 front, plus 25 on the front row. If it was 2 fronts, it's actually more devastating because it'll be plus 50 on the front row. But let's say at the 1 front because I estimated it. So these are plus 25 each. This is going to be on Excel too because it draws you more cards. So 13, 33, 38 with the crit swing. Let's say they guard it. They're at like usually 2 damage at this point. So because they took God Hand, so they're gonna be at 3 damage. You're gonna go custom. Whoops. So usually they like the 1 damage to hit. So if they didn't hit, I mean that's fine because you still have another attack. But let's say in this scenario it was a kick typhoon instead of of that one, since most people don't let it hit. Kick. Restand, and then swing again, kick, stance, attack. So technically if they took this is game because it's like 6 damage, but this is like kind of the ideal setup that most people would want with God Hand. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, but that's pretty much it, guys. Make sure you guys comment, rate, subscribe to the channel, and I do want to give a shout out to Superstar Card Gaming because of their fantastic support that they've been doing. Gave me really good playtesting, and actually there was a lot of God Hand players that played in that locals and actually gave me a lot of advice how to play this deck, because I think I actually just started playing God Hand to try out for regionals. So definitely shout out to them, and also shout out to my friend Brandon that lent me the deck to play around with, because I didn't want to buy my own. So I asked him, hey, can I borrow your God Hand to test for regional? He's like, yeah. So definitely nice of him. So shout outs to Brandon and Superstar Card Gaming. So that's pretty much it. Make sure if you have any comments, leave it down below. Thanks for watching, guys.